Good morning and welcome to this month's Leaders Briefing, where we give you a flavour of headline news from across West London each month. A mix of COVID-19 economic response and some good news stories. Shortly, we'll hear from my colleagues Sarah Spateri and Bill Boler, who'll share updates from Park Royal and the Great West Creatives Enterprise Zone. Last Friday, the West London Economic Prosperity Board approved the West London Build and Recover Plan. The plan addresses 7 areas: employment and skills, growth sectors, micro businesses, housing and infrastructure, town centres, Heathrow, and a green recovery. It also includes likely asks of central government, for example, the need for additional flexibility on existing local government funding streams, investment in digital and transport infrastructure, and the low-carbon economy, as well as support for local communities affected by the COVID-19 impacts on the aviation sector. We're pleased to see the plan aligns in many areas with the Chancellor's latest economic update announced yesterday. In the weeks and days ahead, we'll be continuing, of course, to work with our partners in the West London Alliance to ensure West London makes the most of new investment streams and accesses the support we need from central government to ensure we can sustain our vital contribution as the UK's global gateway. Later this evening, we are launching the West London Business Awards 2021 at our online summer reception. This year, the awards has a slightly different theme, and we will be celebrating resilience, rewarding businesses that have been resilient, adaptable, and or particularly supportive of changing staff, community, and supplier needs during the COVID-19 crisis. At West London Business, we are continuing to respond to the crisis through the West London Business Support Helpline, launched and staffed by volunteers in partnership with the West London boroughs. Please spread the word about the service, or of course give the helpline a call yourself. Our live webcast series, Talk at 10, continues. You can watch previous episodes at any time, or register for the next episode on Thursday the 16th of July at 10, when we'll be discussing inclusive reskilling and upskilling in West London. Now let's hear from my colleagues Sarah Spateri, Park Royal Business Group Manager, who will be sharing some headlines from the UK's most successful industrial estate.
Well, of course, the 4th of July was a very important date in the UK, obviously not just in Park Royal, but with Park Royal being known as London's kitchen, and there's absolutely masses, as you know, of cafes and restaurants in the area. This was a very important time for them. I'm pleased to say that many have risen to the challenge, albeit they've been adapting their services. So key places like Ace Cafe, Patisserie Pashi, Beirut Nights have all opened, also offering takeaway services. The technical and media side of things like Soundhouse Studios are up and running, although they have different measures in place to prevent COVID. And VMI TV and other technical industries are doing very well. The Japan Centre and Anoptria & Co, they're offering more online services, but everyone's emerging gently into the spotlight with a note of caution. We have to still preserve social distancing, wear face masks and gloves where necessary. And there's lots of businesses in Park Royal that are making these kind of items. So if you do want to get hold of any of those for your businesses to help it keep up and running, please do let me know. But no, things are going in the right direction, that's for sure.
No, that's really encouraging to hear, Sarah. And of course, your work with the Old Oakham Park Royal Development Corporation is ongoing. And I've heard mention that there may very soon be a skills hub in Park Royal. I wonder whether you can tell us a bit more about all that collaboration.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's great news for Park Royal and West London generally, because this new skills hub will also be spreading its services out into West London. It's supported by Brent Council, Ealing Council, Hammersmith and Fulham, West London College and the Department of Works and Pensions. It's going to be somewhere we think near Middlesex Hospital. They've just appointed a manager, and it's going to rejuvenate the area and regenerate the services and advice on employment and skills, obviously, for the 2,000 local residents, 1,700 businesses and 40,000 employees. So that is definitely good news. The new manager will have a big job on their hands.
I'm sure they will, Sarah, and I've no doubt you'll be putting a number of businesses needing employment and skills support in their direction. Whenever you're on the phone to me, I think the most frequent topic of conversation at the moment is discretionary grants, which I think is sort of keeping many business owners up at night. Can you give us a little bit more information on how that's working on the ground?
Well, yes, of course, there's a lot of interest in the discretionary grants because they're intended to mop up all the people that slipped through the cracks, all the businesses that weren't getting the initial support. So people have been calling about that a lot on the helpline. Ealing Council have now, their deadline's just passed, but you can still apply if you're part of Brent or Hammersmith and Fulham. We'd be delighted to take your call and point you in the right direction for that. And we're also looking for volunteers all the time as well to help out on the telephone line. So please, if you would like to support us with that, we'd be delighted to hear from you. So please do get in touch.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for your update. Now, from Park Royal, we are going to turn to the Great West Creatives Enterprise Zone, and my colleague Bill Boler. Bill, I wonder whether you can give us a bit of a flavour of how COVID-19 has been affecting the creative industries over the past month in particular, and what's in store.
Thank you, Andrew. Research has shown that COVID-19 has impacted the creative industries as it has all industries across West London. The creative industry is worth about 16.6 billion and 150,000 jobs that are currently at risk, and that's about 1 out of 6. In particular, the supply chain has been hit. That's worth about 3.3 billion, and that includes the manufacturing, construction, and logistics industries. So we're very concerned, but we're very helpful in terms of resilience of the creatives, as well as a recently announced package of 1.6 billion from government that should really help us support our supply chain.
That's great to hear. And I've certainly been sort of spotting in my inbox signs of movement over the past few weeks in the sector as studios start to come back to life, where it's practical to get the cameras rolling. I wonder whether you can tell us a bit more about how some of the local creatives in and around Hounslow have been responding.
You know, it's been fantastic. Through working through the Creative Enterprise Zone and our partners at Waterman's, we've been able to bring together many of our creatives to create a virtual studios online. It's a program that's been launched via Instagram as one of the main social media outlets, and it features artists from Alliance Dance Studios to Milton Grubert, and a range of others. New videos are being posted each day, and if you're interested, please seek out Creative Network West on Instagram or hashtag Virtual Studios West. You'll see some fascinating things and really get some good examples of how our local creatives are still continuing to sort of promote themselves and network and really sort of connect with each other and the public.
That sounds like something we should all be doing when we need a break between the endless stream of Zoom calls, dipping into the virtual studios. Now, as we look forward, what's your take, Bill, in terms of which bits of the creative sector are going to be most critical to the economic recovery?
Well, one of the lead sectors is going to be the TV and film industry. It's such an important sector to our Creative Enterprise Zone and, of course, to all of West London. You may have noticed that sports has returned, so that's going to be very important for the broadcast industry for many of the companies and supply chains in our area. The film industry is going to be coming back. We've got recent news that major productions, including Mission Impossible 7 and 8, The Batman, Fantastic Beasts 3, and some Netflix productions are all now in discussions about returning. government just announced that some of the major film stars from Hollywood can come back and don't have to quarantine, which should ease some of the production as well. Guidance agreements are in place, the use of bubble environments. And so, we're very excited that this is going to be a very important sector for our return.
Thank you so much for that update, Bill. And from your good news to more good news, even more good news from across the wider West London landscape. Retail and hospitality businesses have been reopening, of course, across the region this week. Last week also saw the government stepping forward to acquire a significant stake in OneWeb, the Hammersmith and Fulham-based satellite constellation operator. OneWeb will have a key role in the UK's future space ambitions and already has 74 satellites in low Earth orbit. The British Retail Consortium has announced a group of retailers, including West London-based IKEA and Dixon's Carphone, will work together to develop a decarbonisation strategy for the sector ahead of next year's COP26 climate conference. Advanced London and the Sustainable Restaurant Association have launched a circular economy guide for the food service industry, available for easy download from our website. And finally, the Drive-In Club in Brent Cross opened last Friday. It's the first and biggest multi-screen and multi-genre outside entertainment experience to hit the UK. In line with government guidelines, of course, ticket holders will be able to either sit inside or adjacent to their car with sound broadcast through a dedicated FM frequency. You can find out more on all these stories on westlondon.com. That brings us to the end of our July Leaders Briefing. Do diarise Thursday the 6th of August at 10 a.m. for the next briefing. Until next time, we wish you, your friends, family and colleagues good health. And please contact the West London business team at any time if there are any issues arising from the briefing that you'd like to discuss.